Hello, welcome to the Always Be Comedy podcast. Our guests today are two of the four members of the Shoot from the Hip improv team. Timo, these four rascals, they've quite literally, that's a Smashy Nicey reference, they've quite literally taken the improv world by storm, so much so that they're performing at the actual Hammersmith Apollo. I mean, it's a meteoric rise, Tim.
Yeah, it's quite astonishing. I used to work for a venue which not many people went to. I think that's fair to say. But Shoot from a Hip would always get people in. So I was sort of like aware of them for a few years, and then what's just happened is gone absolutely bonkers. Like sold out shows constantly. And then it's resulting in this absolutely gigantic Hammersmith Apollo show. I believe the first UK improv group to do such a thing. And we have to hand it to them. That's fantastic.
That's a real achievement. Their website, shootimpro.com. They're playing the Apollo 4th of October in the year of our Lord 2026. Now, if you are an improv... You know what? If you're a comedy fan, we think you would have a blast here. When you see great improv, it is akin to watching a magic trick.
Yeah.
These guys, Timo, more than 3 million followers across the socials. Now, these are guys who popped doing online sketches, and then the snowball just gathered momentum from there, Tim.
Yeah, they talk about on this episode. We should say we've got two of the four on this episode. So we've got Luke and Sam. Tom and AJ weren't able to make it, but good luck to them. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, Luke and Sam, and they talk about how the wealth of material they generate for clips is astonishing, and being able to do improv as like a full-time job is, I don't know many people who can do that. It's just crazy. And like, if you look for numbers on their clips, it's just crazy. You can see why they're doing the Apollo. And at the Fringe, they're also doing McEwen Hall, which is like an enormous dome. It's essentially the O2 in Edinburgh because it's so colossally massive. 7 o'clock, 14th, 15th, 16th August, if you want a very quick Fringe plug there.
It's a great chat. We get into it. Lots of we chat about improv generally. What they've achieved, because a lot of a friend of mine who is still in a big improv team now, he says often with improv nights, it's just improv teams performing to other improv teams. It can be hard. It can be hard to get bums on seats.
Yeah.
So for these guys to continue doing what they're doing is it's phenomenal. Timo, we must address there's every chance you can hear fans in the background. Now, normally we turn the fans off, and then I watched the Nicky Butt Paul Scholes podcast, which I love, and I could definitely hear fans in the background. And I thought, if Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes can have fans on for their podcast, then we can have them on for ours. We are recording this intro on Friday, the 26th of June. Controversially, I'm not sure if it is true, it feels even hotter than the Wednesday and the Thursday. So what we would like to say, in some, talk about putting bums on seats, every single person, by the way, no shade on those who didn't come because of the heat, but where they were ironically sat in the shade. But the people that came to the shows this week, we salute you, and we couldn't thank you more. We'd like to thank Tom at the Tommy Field for getting the 2 aircon units in. Tim, at the time of recording, we had Josh Pugh last night. I mean, I would say, all things considered, that's what I would say, packed to the rafters, given it was, I'm not exaggerating, 212 degrees Celsius. Talking of plugging a tour show, Tim, and he's playing the Apollo. That is one of the best shows I've seen in many a year. It is called Ha Ha Yeah Sound. Josh Pugh. I know we talk about him a lot, but generational talent, Tim.
Generational talent, absolutely. I'm so excited for a sitcom. I want to see what that looks like, really. But yeah, Vitor is just you could truly bring anyone on earth, really, and I think they'd love it. I genuinely think everyone who can speak English would completely love it. I just think it's phenomenal stuff.
He's back with us Tuesday, the 25th of August. There's not that many tickets left. So if you want to see Josh, he's back with us. And then, Tim, this coming week, we've got tonight, Tuesday, the 30th of June, Iowadi Bang Boyi.
Yes.
We've only recently added this show because someone else had to move a show to another date. So we've got the Saturday Night Live UK star and also someone who we champion pretty much every episode, Iowadi Bang Boyi, with us tonight at the time of recording. Now, we're not listing this one, but we've just added it again because someone else has moved the show. So Wednesday, the 1st of July, it's a secret show with Bill Bailey. Mum's the word, please. All that malarkey. It starts at 7:30 p.m. So you can watch at the time of recording, we are predicting will be the England game. If there's any team that's ever existed that can confound expectations and prove you wrong, and not always in a good way, it is England. So the plan is we're going to go for a 7:30 start because the plan, we're predicting that England will be playing at 5. So when you see it, we've billed it as William Shakespeare. It's not. As a lot of you know, when we've got a secret unlisted show, we give it a silly name just so that those on the newsletter are the only people who know what's really going on. Anything to add to that, Tim?
No. Just, I mean, the plan is it will be sold out by the time you're listening to this, but there might be the occasional, there might be like a very select few tickets left for the truly great man, Bill Bailey.
Yes, always worth checking for returns as well.
Oh,
but we have, when I say we have quite literally just added it. And then, Tim, we've also just added Monday, the 6th of July. It's a work in progress with Bridget Christie. So Harriet Kemsley has had to move a show to Friday, the 11th of September. So if you want to come to that, Friday the 11th of September, a just moved show with Harriet Kemsley. So filling the void. Timo, I know, again, maybe not supposed to give a peek behind the curtain. I was on the train home late last night after Josh Pugh. Bridget Christie WhatsApps looking for a gig. I said, you're not going to believe this, but something's just come up. Tim, I could have kissed the sky. I really could. So Monday the 6th of July. Now, some of you have emailed in. I know we've answered this before. What's the difference between work in progress? And so I would say you've got the finished tour show. Then you've got tour previews where it's pretty much good to go and they're just running through it before it's going on tour. Then you've got work in progress, and that can be reading off scraps of paper, reading off the back of your hand, sometimes just saying thoughts that are in your head, riffing on stage and so on. Tim, it's fair to say that Monday the 6th of July, it will be very work in progress. This is Bridget pretty much starting from scratch, having finished a tour relatively recently. So this will be more at the scraps of paper stage, Kennington exclusives and so on, which is why tickets are only £8 to see one of the most iconic comedians of the 21st century. I think that's all fair to say.
Very fair to say. I believe, well, Bridget was still doing that tour show in May. Maybe she even did a few in June. Like, it's this, the most recent tour has just finished. So we are in the earliest of early stages for this new tour. It's exciting stuff.
There are very few people I enjoy watching a work in progress than, sloppy syntax, but I'm sort of in it now, than Bridget Christie. So much fun. Tim, there's certain comedians, we were saying this last night with Josh Pugh, I'd love to see them whip it up forever while they're still at the, because Josh Pugh last night had loads of stuff I'd not seen before. Yeah. And it's pure joy, and watching Bridget riff and come up with stuff, Timo, it's one of the reasons why we do it. We love it.
Oh my God, of course. Yeah. It's often the most interesting bit. Obviously, the tour is also fantastic. But, someone like Harry Hill, for example, seeing him do New, where it's like something he came up with in the car on the way to a gig is just like thrilling. It's why we do it. It's why we bloody do
it. I think a lot of you are like, look, we're all comedy nerds, let's be honest, but we bloody love it. We love the whip stage. I remember Tom Allen riffing a bit on stage at Always Be Comedy that became a signature gag from this particular tour. You know, it's fantastic. Sorry, really patting the night on the back here, aren't we? For these and many more, please visit alwaysbecomedy.com/tickets. Timo, from superstar comedians to more superstar comedians, here they are, the wonderful Shoot from the Hip. Once again, they are playing the iconic Apollo on the 4th of October. Here they are, 2 of the 4 members of Shoot from the Hip. Right, guys, straight out the gate, we have to address this up top. Is this true? You're the first, let me read this out, the first UK improv group to ever headline the Hammersmith Apollo. That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you. As far as we know, that's absolutely correct. There's an American group that's beaten us to it by a few months, so we have to like suffix it with British improv group. Yeah. But we are the first British improv group to headline Hammersmith Apollo. Yeah.
Hang on, which bastards beat you to it then?
Oh, they're not bastards. It's the it's the improvisers behind Dropout, which I think is probably the model for how comedy, and certainly new and interesting, potentially unsafe comedy, should be done.
No, I'm sorry, guys. I'm doubling down. The bastards. But look, still a phenomenal achievement. First British. You know, when you think about all the British improvisers who've been down the years, that's still such a feather in the cap, isn't it?
Yeah, we were really excited about doing it. I mean, it's going to be our biggest show. I mean, it's harder to find a bigger theatre in the UK. I mean, I think it will have to be next year, the Royal Albert Hall or something. But yeah, it's just we love improv so much, and to see it in a place where, you know, as kids and teenagers, we were watching it on live at the Apollo. It's such a, you know, hallowed space in the comedy landscape of the UK to be able to do our favourite form of comedy there with all the people who are excited to come and see it as well is truly a dream come true.
Is it fair to say that British improv is having a real moment? There's the space that's opened up near us, Timo.
Yeah, free association. Yeah,
free association. What KL's done with his tour.
Yeah,
I know there's talk. You know, there's talk of TV sniffing around more improv. It feels like an exciting time for improv.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, places like the Free Association, Hoopla have been building over the last like 10 and 20 years, going from strength to strength, which is great. And then also separately, there's groups like us, groups like Ostentatious and Showstoppers. We feel that we're kind of at the front of like the online space, kind of pushing that as far as we can go. Because I think we're the improv group with the biggest like online following anywhere in the world as well, across like multiple platforms.
Amazing.
Yeah. We've got on the front of our post at the moment like 4 million online followers to try and sell our shows at Edinburgh. But yeah, definitely there's a bit of a moment at the moment.
Now I'm going to show my age. So my eyes were open to improv from whose line is it anyway? Mike McShane and the gang. How about you guys? Who were the guys when you were growing up where you went, oh, hang on, this is special?
Yeah, for me, it was the same, actually. It was Whose Line, but except I was watching it on the reruns on Channel Dave because they brought it back in like 2007 or 8, I think it was.
Right.
It was literally like one of the summers before I went to university, which is why I sort of sought it out at uni to find like an improv group. And there had been one that had been started the year before, presumably because they'd all just watched Whose Line as well. That's still kind of like a gold standard for like the improv games that we do in our first half.
Sure.
Yeah, so for me, those are the guys to look up to. And then obviously like seeing the Comedy Store players in person, which is kind of like a lot of the original cast of the British run of Whose Line Is It Anyway, plus some new blood that I have coming in every so often. Yeah.
Was Ryan Stiles not the funniest person in the universe?
Incredible.
Think about
Mockery
this
and Styles. Yeah.
I'm like, why was he not? I mean, I'm sure you know what? He might be the happiest guy in the world, and maybe I'm projecting, and I won't want to make him feel bad. But Jesus Christ, this guy, I could not believe. I mean, I think, he had great success on the Drew Carey show, and as I say, I hope he's the happiest man in the world. But good God, he had the world by the tail, didn't he?
Yeah. No,
I think he made a lot of money off those sitcoms. I think he was also a regular in Everybody Loves Raymond, so I think he's probably absolutely fine. I mean, the way I got into improv was I watched a lot of American comedy, a lot of comedy movies and comedy TV series, and I'd even watch interviews with these fantastic American comic actors, and they'd all keep dropping these names like Second City and UCB and things like that. And you basically found out that pretty much every single comic actor that you love in America went to improv school for years and have got a great fondness for it. And even if the way they look, they make a lot of American TV shows still to this day, something like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They have the script and then they go, and now we'll do some mucking around and now we'll play with it. And, that's why the blooper reels from a lot of American shows are them corpsing, because they're given the room and the freedom to improvise because they know that most of the actors there have that toolkit. So yeah, that was probably my introduction into, this is almost like a hidden magic of making comedy. And started doing it and fell in love with it.
And even like Curb Your Enthusiasm, there's certain, he'll say to his actors, right, this scene, it's going to start here, it needs to end there. I don't mind how we get there, but we need to get there. So even the shows like that, I think people, a lot of comedy fans will have seen more improv without realizing they're watching improv. A lot of the Judd Apatow films, a lot of that, they're including improv as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That shows, Curb Your Enthusiasm is it's kind of a one-off in that sense as well, because it's pretty much all improv. And ours is a bit different as well, like our second half, because we're constructing like an entire narrative. So it's more in line with maybe what Curb is doing. Except the Curb has kind of like a preset structure and they're loosely doing it in between. Whereas in our second half, it's like it's an entire narrative, just based off a title. Yeah.
So I don't, listen, I do not know as much about improv as you guys, but I did David Shaw's Monkey Toast. I did all 5.
Oh, yeah. I did that as well a long time ago.
You know what? I say I loved it. I got the fear I got the night before. Oh my God. I'd barely sleep a wink. I think it's one of those things. I think at the time I found it really challenging. And then I look back and go, oh, that was great. But at the time, my knees were knocking. So he would do these, it was a thing called a one-man Harold. And I went to go see him do it. It was unbelievable. So I know bits and bobs. I don't know loads, but when I'm asking these questions, I couldn't be more on board. I'm pro improv. I'm an improv fan. So I'm asking this from a place of love. Can you talk for the listener that hasn't yet got their ticket? What would they expect from your show? What is the structure and the format?
So I'd say the first half, if you've probably, even if you've sort of by accident, just the way the algorithms work, seen us play one of our short form games, which is something like the change game, where I might say my favorite dog is this one here called Bluey.
Yeah.
And then Luke would say, change.
Sorry.
Yeah. he's some more. Quite give it like a fun example for the listeners. But, it's fine. He's left me hanging there. It's great. So that's a sort of fun banter you can see in the first half. Cheers for that, Luke. No, fun.
That was great. That was like in football. You played a through ball, and your teammate was like, "Man, I'm not moving a muscle. I'm not."
No, it's like the striker just sort of paused to have a drink of water.
We're telepathic. We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah. We've been doing this for so long. We can finish each other's. But yeah. So as I was saying, so the first half will be those short form games, which you probably, if you've only briefly heard of Shoot from the Hip, that's what you'll get in the first half.
Change.
And I would say, I would say that what you've just seen here of us making the mistakes, I think is also half of the fun. So we talk a lot about A game and B game. So the A game is the narrative, the characters you are playing, and the handle on that game, and the B game is Luke making a mistake, or me saying something slightly wrong, or something like that, and watching us tease each other and sort of bounce off of each other and almost sort of prank each other. So that's the first half of those, and then the second half is what Luke was referring to, is a completely improvised story. And things like you were mentioning, like the Harold, and some of the sort of more musical narrative shows, they will have a little bit of a structure. Whether that, so the Harold is, I think it was, the A scene, the B scene, and the C scene, and then you
Yeah.
cycle back through those. And some of them might be like, okay, we'll always start with two characters in the first scene, and then it'll be two completely different characters in the next scene. Whereas we, probably to our detriment at the beginning, didn't take any structure whatsoever. So all we get is a title from the audience, which could be things like The Unrelenting Aubergine, or Moist and Magical, and someone gets a little inspiration about how that starts, and then we just sort of go until the story is ended. And sometimes those are 35 minutes, and sometimes they're an hour long. But we're probably the part of the show that we're the most proud of, because when they fly, they really do feel like tightrope walking whilst also doing a magic trick, whilst also drinking a glass of water when you should be paying attention on a podcast. Yeah.
But I mean, you've taken the words out of my mouth there. It is like a magic trick. When you're at an improv show and they do some sort of, I remember going to the Ostentatious and Carrie Lloyd pulled this callback from nowhere, and it was like the sound that the audience makes. I mean, that's a unique thing, isn't it?
Yeah. When
Yes,
you get that big reaction from a Carrot's amazing. When you get that big reaction from an audience, it's so nice as well, because you try and, in that narrative long form, you try and set down like a few different threads at the top, and then you're trying to see how many of those you can tile together. And you might have different ideas in your back pocket about, oh, I could pull out maybe like this reveal, or I could link these two ideas in this way. But there's four of you doing that as well. So it's kind of like you get to see how other people are going to link things. So then sometimes you're like, oh, wow, they've linked that in that way. And that's so much better than what I had that I could have pulled out maybe. But you have to do that as well without planning too much, because you have to be reacting constantly to what's going on in the moment. You have these ideas that maybe you could bring in, but you're also ready to shelve them in favor of whatever's happening in front of you as well.
How do you do anything to stay on your toes for mental agility? Because you've got to
nothing.
You've got to be properly, like, mentally match fit, haven't you? That's the thing. You've got to be
I mean, we don't like drink before a show. So a lot of people ask us like, oh, do you have to have a drink before the show to like so you don't get afraid or whatever? And you're like, no.
We all know that the opposite is true. That's the last thing you should be doing.
Exactly. Other than that, we do a little like warm up beforehand, just to kind of make sure that you are there and ready to have fun and are connecting with the other people, and you've kind of not focused on whatever problems have been going on for you that day. But that's kind of it, really. That's just a little, only a silly warm up.
I mean, I think the one thing that when we were teaching improv, and we sort of did a few courses, and we did courses from like teenagers in school to like the general managers of the boots around the UK.
Yeah,
it's one of those skills that everyone sort of had as a kid, sort of just play and listening and creating worlds and stories together and communication. And those skills, which you can learn to do improv on a stage, are so useful in every other form of life, basically. So even though we don't sort of sit down and do Sudoku, but everything that we are doing because also the weird thing is, we thought for 10 years we did these shows for free with a bucket you throw change into, and the most business that we had to do was dividing those changes at the end. Now we basically are running two businesses, which is Shoot from the Hip and Roll from the Hip, and the improv skills are so useful for that, because you have trained yourself to always make a choice. It doesn't matter if it goes wrong, because you trust that the people also in your business are going to support you, as Luke just said, of like, that's a much better idea, actually. So we were just making like a pitch document together this week, and people are throwing in ideas and building on each other and listening. And so keeping a brain match fit, I think learning the improv and then applying it to your life also keeps you match fit for the stage, in my opinion.
Yeah. So companies that hire you for corporate stuff, what are they getting out of that? Is that things like team building, helping people think on their feet?
We haven't done them for a while, because I think a lot again with a stand up they can kind of tell them what they want to joke about and what they want to do and what's off limits and they can almost go and see that stand up already, whereas us, we are very, you don't know what's going to happen really.
Well,
Usually
sorry,
it's someone.
there's two
Oh,
types of corporate gigs. There's the shows for people, which Sam is talking about, but then there's the
Yeah.
workshops of improv that people might
Sorry,
hire
the
for as well.
workshops.
Right. Okay. I thought that's what you meant. Um,
oh,
yeah, we don't. I mean, like we're so busy with what we're doing, and this is such a full-time thing for us that we haven't done many corporate workshops in a long time. But we did used to teach classes just like the general public as well, and you get a real mix of people there. We have done some corporate workshops, I think, but what you get out of that, yeah, is those kind of like improving those listening skills, confidence in your own ideas, uh, learning how to work as part of a team. Those are kind of like the three fundamentals that improv teaches you that you can apply to anything really. Um, yeah.
It's quite life changing stuff, that though, isn't it? If let's say Marjorie, she's never had the confidence in a meeting, and then does one of your courses, and then suddenly she's. Yeah, I mean, it's empowering, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's especially important, I think, for British people. Like, I think there's a reason this art form.
Yes, yes.
There's a reason this art form has kind of taken off in America, and there's been kind of a bit of a gap since it was founded here and now. And yeah, I think it plays like more like American strengths. Like they are a bit more confident in their own ideas, and we're too like not confident in our own enough to bring it. With the underdogs and all that, and also too polite maybe to kind of interfere with other people's rather than build it up actively. It teaches you how to do that. Yeah.
I know pals who do improv, and people like Joseph Morpurgo and Rachel Parris and so on. Graham Dixon. We'd had Graham on quite recently because of they'd opened the new space. After years of success, but then opening this designated space is
which is a lovely space. We've done some gigs there actually, and we've got like another one upcoming, like a D&D thing that we're doing there as well with our sister group Roll from the Hip. It's a great space, really cool.
Is it what I was going to say is, so I know that it's tough and it can be thankless, and like you say, you from years for free. So what was it like when you had that breakthrough success? Was it discombobulating, or was it sort of like, we always felt this would happen?
it happened sort of by accident.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, we thought it was winding down. We've been going for like 10 or so years. The pandemic happened. We did a bit of online stuff during the pandemic, which was good to kind of supplement the SACE grant we got. But then after the pandemic, I think we were all finding different proper jobs, and I was moving to Spain, which is where I am now.
Yeah.
And it was winding down. Sam got a job as a BBC producer, and he was working on like a sketch show format with me. And he said, "Well, come over. We'll do like 4 Sundays in a row at the Bill Murray. We'll do like half of the sketch format, and then the other half we'll just fill with some improv stuff," which we did. And I think Sam or AJ as well was like, "Well, why don't we just like film the improv bit and put it online and see how it does on TikTok, this kind of newish platform?" And we did. And one of the games like really hit it big with like, I don't know, maybe like 100,000 or so views. And we were like, "Oh, maybe we should work on this." We've not, because the received wisdom for so long was that like, oh, you can't record improv. It doesn't work when you play it back. It's all about the magic in the moment. And I think for us, we were like, yeah, but if you record it, you've recorded the magic in the moment. So we started to put it online, and lots of trial and error and hard work. And AJ in our group was working pretty flat out, kind of editing the videos and putting them online regularly. At the first like 6 months or whatever, he was doing like a video a day, I think, like a short video a day. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a lot of effort in the first 6 months.
The thing that we learned was basically because I was doing stand up as well at the time, and I'd been putting some stand up clips up on TikTok, and some of them had done really well, and some of them had not. But I get the recording of my show and being like going back through the set, going, I've already put that bit up. Oh, I've already done a bit of crowd work that's kind of like that. Oh, I don't have anything new to put up. And what we realized with improv, it was a gold mine. Because every time we did a show, we had 2 hours of content that we could pick the best bits from. And that is the same every single time. And then when the audience grew, we also realized that people, if you see a great stand-up do their Edinburgh show, you maybe at most will go and see it twice. But if you really like Shoot from the Hip, there are people who come to every show of an Edinburgh run. because it's always a different show. So we sort of had this eureka moment of we have content, we have more content than we know what to do with, and high quality, and we could be really discerning about what we put up. And we have a live show format that if you really are a fan, you can come as many times as you want and have a brand new, exciting experience.
Very cool. So then what happened? Was it like the snowball gathered momentum? I take it then the more clips that were going up, the bigger the hits and so on.
Yeah, and there was like a definite feedback loop in terms of like the more successful you are online, the more people there are to buy tickets in person, which means the easier it is to get money from that, which you can put into better camera equipment or leaving your job so you can do more gigs or whatever.
But even that, even that's not necessarily true. What I mean by that is we know lots of guys who get mega hits online and it doesn't necessarily translate to ticket sales. So there's quite a lot of passive fans. So they enjoy watching the videos and then they'll go, I'm going on tour. And people are going, no, thanks. So what you've done there, I think that is really special, to turn the hits into ticket sales is not everyone has done that.
I think there's also a thing of like going, you get, because I mean, it's true. The magic in the room, it is there and you can capture it, but it does dim it slightly. But the other thing is with our show, if you come, there's a good chance that you'll be involved. If you're in the audience, you are shouting a suggestion at the beginning of each of the game. You might make the title or suggest the title that is our greatest long form ever. You might even come up on stage to play pillars or puppets or something like that. I think it is improv always has been a much more in the room experience than I think pretty much any other form of not just comedy, but like art. Like you don't usually get to shout out during Hamlet. And if you heckle
it's really frowned upon.
If you heckle a stand-up, you're probably going to be annoyed. Whereas even in a very rare case where we get heckles or people are so overexcited that they almost pierce through that fourth wall, that's fine with us. Because again, it's another mistake, it's another offer, and we can choose what we do with that, which is great for us. And I think also why people do move from the phone into the theatres.
Very cool. Now, when you announced the Apollo, what was the chat there between you? That must be like, this is beyond our wildest dreams.
Yeah. Crazy. Because it was a surprise for us as well. Actually, I think we were talking about the Apollo, and then we hadn't heard back. So we're like, oh, maybe we should lower our sights to the Palladium, which is still like incredible.
Yeah.
And then the Apollo got back to us, and it was such a shock. We were like, oh my god. And there was so much to sort out that week as well, with like booking Edinburgh and things. We've got so much going on. We haven't had loads of time to think about the fine details of the Apollo, which I think we're tackling in the next couple of weeks or so to sort of hammer out some more details of what the show's going to look like.
We're hoping to get we've had some really great guests along. So we've had Henry Lewis from the play That Goes Wrong.
Yep.
We've had Kale Smith-Bino from Ghosts and his great improv tour.
Great.
Tanya Reynolds from Ted Lasso. Max Vosh, who's a very big YouTuber.
Yeah, sure.
And if all our stars can align, if we can get some of those great guys and girls back for the show, then it would be fun to make it a celebration of sort of everything that we've done up until this point and the friends we've made along the way. But
yeah,
everyone is very busy, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll be able to announce something official soon.
Yeah, I went to see David Byrne at the Apollo a couple of weeks ago, and I was like right at the back, up the top of the balcony, and I was like, oh my god, this place is absolutely enormous. We're doing a proper recce of the venue in a couple of weeks, so I think we'll all be there as the groups together, and then it'll start to feel really real, I think, once we're all in that room.
I don't want to sound like your agent, like I'm putting pressure on you when I ask this question, but how does improv change? I'm used to seeing improv in, say, rooms above pubs, right?
Yeah.
So how does improv change? I know this does sound like the sort of thing your agent is going to be saying to you, but how does improv change when you go from the 60, 70 seater to the Apollo? Because the point you've made there is brilliant, is spot on. The people at the back in the upper circle or what have you, they part of the improv is feeling part of that magic.
Yeah, there's definitely a change because we regularly do the Bill Murray pub, which is only like 60 seater. But the biggest venue we've played so far we've got some big ones booked in, but the biggest one so far is Birmingham Town Hall, which is like 900. And there's quite
Mate, amazing, amazing.
thank you. There's quite a difference there. Like the 60 seater always feels a lot more intimate, and you can also that's like our diehard fans that are at the Bill Murray pubs. It's quite a different feel for that reason as well. But it feels like you can really you have to do like smaller scale things and like moments, intimate moments between characters. Whereas on the big stage, you're suddenly aware that you're really having to kind of like exaggerate your expressions and things so that the back row can see what the hell is happening, rather than having to guess at what your face is doing. But also the audio quality changes as well. Like even though we have like mics and receivers, it's so much more kind of like echoey these spaces. So I think sometimes after the first couple of games at the town hall, we were like, hang on, I think we need to slow down and give each other a bit more space after dialogue, not be so ready to interrupt as we might be in the smaller venues, because otherwise you can't hear what's being said. It gets a bit lost in the audio in that kind of space. So it definitely has a different feel, but it's still very funny.
I mean, that's it. The names that you mentioned there. I mean, that's exciting when these sorts of guys become affiliated with the show. That must be a lovely feeling.
Yeah, it's great. And we had Max Voss back for his second show at the Comedy Store over the weekend, and it was lovely to have him back. And Max is not an improviser at all. Never really done it. Is good at banter and is great in his YouTube videos. But like, it's so nice to have, because we four are experienced enough that we can have someone like him trust us and go like, it's going to be fine no matter what you do, as long as you do something. This is going to work. And it worked so well the first time. He wanted to come back for the second time, and it worked so well again there. And again, I think the thing with the lovely change in comedy is it has become a lot more the artists and the creatives working with each other, and not having as many gatekeepers. So it's very useful for Max to be exposed to the Shoot from the Hip fan base, and it's very useful for his fan base to be exposed to us. And creating something new together and collaboratively, again, is all what improv is about. And we've had there's times where we've had some people guesting on the show. When we had Henry Lewis at the Leicester Square Theatre, where he was making choices, going, I would never have thought of that, but that is great. So yeah, it's wonderful. And hopefully in a couple of years we'll have Dwayne the Rock Johnson on playing Change with Luke. It'll be great.
Yeah, and also from that business perspective as well, like psychologically, it's much better as a performer, that kind of lack of gatekeepers. Because say previously, if you're just like you're writing sketches or whatever, and then you get an interview, so I get a meeting with like someone at the BBC or someone on Netflix or whatever, like you're so excited for this meeting, which like we still are if we have one of those meetings. But if it doesn't pan out, which most of the time it doesn't pan out because I have lots of these meetings, we're not so let down because we're like, what, we've still got a really good thing going and we're totally in control of it, and we are the gatekeepers of our own success, which is a good position to be in.
This isn't a question. This is more of my own personal rant that I need to get over. With the Apatow movies, he had such and beyond such great improvisers, and as Sam says, people that have done Groundlings, Second City, and so on. But I felt like the success of those films, it did lead to some bad improv where it felt to me that some Hollywood A-listers had seen the experts doing it, and perhaps because no one's ever said no to them, they thought, oh well, I can do improv, and it would really boil my piss. And this when I'd go to the cinema, if a film was out, I was there. I would sort of be grinding my teeth at like, no, not everyone could do it. Do you know where I'm coming from there?
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, you need to have at least a few capable people in the room, and I think enough of them can make someone shine and build someone up and be a great scene partner. If you've got a bunch of people who've never done it before, it is going to hurt. And the other worst one, the one that boils my piss, is when I see fake improv. So people pretending that they've improvised something where it's actually scripted, and you're like, I can tell what you're doing here. I'll come back tomorrow night, and that same thing will have happened again, and that really that really frustrates me.
there was a Canadian reviewer that once called this out at a show, and
Ooh.
and they wrote in their piece, "Oh, that's interesting because when I saw this show 2 years ago, the exact same thing happened. You know, and everyone's like doing this on stage. Oh,
Yeah.
that you weren't supposed to say that, and it's like beat for beat what they're obviously doing every night. You know.
Yeah.
Do you? Are there any examples there for? Actually, maybe don't, because I don't want you to say something and you're like, I shouldn't have named.
No.
I think if we wrote 3 things down, I reckon we've got the same 3 things.
I'll say one that is definitely safe because I don't remember the name of it. I remember it was the first time I'd gone to Edinburgh and I wanted to go and see some improv, and it wasn't quite going well. And then they just decided to do the Monty Python Dead Parrot sketch.
No.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on?
That was the one show where I've seen, because I was there as well,
Yeah.
an improviser who'd come in as like a guest, made an excuse in a scene, like in character, ran out of the room and did not come back after the show.
Oh my God. I was making a choice.
he was out of there. He was like,
Yeah.
I'm not being part of this.
He made a good choice, in my opinion.
We'll get to the format, but that must be that's a lovely thing where you guys will be the Ryan Stiles and the Tony Slattery and the Josie Lawrence and so on for a new generation of people. That must feel nice.
Yeah, that's really nice. We get a lot of emails and correspondence saying like, "Oh, how we've inspired people to start their own improv groups," or asking for guidance on what to do. Countless times I've typed out the sentence: "Read Improv and Improv Storytellers by Keith Johnston and the Improv Handbook by Francis White and Selinsky." As like my key advice that I give to anyone getting started. It's really nice to be inspiring people like that.
Amazing.
I think I was also say that it's been lovely to see the Shoot from the Hip fan community sort of grow from nothing, and the fact that we've had messages and people have told us at shows that they now have friends all over the world who they met through watching Shoot from the Hip, and they now do some improv together, and also they then go out and do some creative like art together or some books and stuff like that, and they meet up. They all plan to meet up at this one show so they can catch up, and they make a day of it, and they arrive in the morning, they spend the whole day in Birmingham or whatever, and some really truly great friendships have been formed. And that's a lovely sort of byproduct of we never thought we would be doing that when we were doing our Tuesday shows at Top Secret with a free bucket, but it's lovely to see that community grow so enthusiastically and creatively.
That reminds me of like the Taskmaster community. They've got a similar thing. I mean, it's lovely stuff, isn't it? Guys, if you're curating now, I know we've got a lovely twist on the format here. You're creating your dream gig. Do you guys have any pre-gig rituals?
We do a little bit of like a bit of word throwing just before we go out on stage. We always, even if we've done it quite a few times there, we probably run the intro music and running out of the show and doing that. We do have a good mic check where we get everyone there. We now have a little Osmo camera that we sort of try and catch each other in candid moments, which we film for BTS, which is for our Patreon. The Patreon gets sort of loads of exclusive goodies and stuff like that. I know Tom has a word phrase that he always has to say. It's something about a Chinese chicken, but I think it's just a little tongue twister for him. I will usually be the first.
Is that the Bare Naked Ladies song?
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, that is, to be fair, that is how they deliver that is extraordinary. That is a good exercise.
Yeah, I'll usually be the first one out of the dressing room and in the wings, and sort of just have a little moment there of just being like, and put everything else out of your brain for the day, and time to go and go into show Sam mode, who smiles a lot more and is a lot more charismatic than sleepy new dad Sam.
Sam will always disappear for like 10 minutes pre-show.
Sam,
and
can I just say that I am the Sam of the operation as well. I'm the same.
AJ falls asleep. AJ has probably he does his
Mm.
mic test and then has a 20-minute cat nap on a sofa somewhere.
And I might be sound, but I'm jealous of AJ. How's that?
Yeah.
Jammy Bath. Some people are like a fucking dormouse. They just know how to.
Yeah.
It's a skill I don't
Yeah.
have. As a new dad, Sam, that's a skill that you would love to have, isn't it?
It'd be so nice. It would be
It would
very,
be so
very nice.
Now, so instead of having an MC, then how are you framing this? Then is the first one? Who would be the first member of your dream improv lineup?
My first member would be an American improviser who is called Brennan Lee Mulligan, who is very famous again on the dropout scene, and also is weirdly the world's most famous dungeon master of Dungeons and Dragons. And the improvisers who do his show on his D&D show on Dropout sold out Madison Square Gardens playing Dungeons and Dragons,
You're
which
joking.
yeah, insane, insane. And they did the same thing at the O2, I think last year for like 3 nights. And this guy works so hard and is such a, could basically, has enough money to not do anything. But you see him in interviews and he's still going down to Dynasty Typewriter in LA when he's got a free night to go and do some improv. And he's a great storyteller and very, taking care of people. The biggest thing is I never want to say no. So if someone says, I want to grow extra arms and run at you, says, it sounds like you want to do more things than you can do with 2 hands. You can do this if you like. So I think that sort of, and also I just think he's a genius. So that would be my number one pick.
So this guy's just an all-round hero, then.
Oh, he's It just I also love his work ethic, but yeah, as an improviser, it would be great to sort of just play some basic games with him. It'd be fun.
Have you met him?
No, never.
Would you? How would it be if you met him? Would you go to pieces?
Oh no, I don't think it's that level of hero worship.
I think it might.
I think it would be very much like going, what you do is incredibly impressive, and thank you for what you've done for improv and collaborative storytelling.
Yeah, you seem to you kept that together as you were reenacting it. I just know there's certain people. If I met them, I'd burst into tears. Seemed like you had more of a handle on that. Right, who would the second person be then?
Luke?
For me, do you know what? If I was thinking about this lineup,
Sorry,
I was thinking about this lineup question. I was like, you know what? There's probably like a group that I'd had to do like a group show with, and then I'd probably want to do like a two-hander show separately from that as well. And I think for a two-hander, I'd probably ask for Steve Carell.
Okay.
Because
we're talking about the Hollywood people who can improv. The guy might be top, number one on the list, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got like because he can do it all. He can do the funny stuff. Like I remember the first time I saw him in Bruce Almighty. I think a lot of actors read for that part, and he was the only one that like no, it has to be him. Has to be him. The blah 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 pang pang. You know that bit? Have you seen Bruce Almighty?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. But also he's a great dramatic actor as well. And he picks really good stuff to be in as well. There's like a series on Apple TV where he's playing like a psychiatrist who's like locked in the basement of a serial killer. And he's great. He's just fantastic. So I'd like to do like a two-hander with him that might be a little bit more dramatic at points and then funny at different points.
He's amazing. He can do the lot. He can make you laugh and he can break your heart. He's so when they were casting the Dana Carvey show, which was like, notoriously one of the biggest bombs on US TV, but they'd seen him in a sketch. Waiters who are repulsed by food. Have you ever seen that sketch?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That's what got Steve.
That's what got in The Office, isn't it?
That's what got him The Office, and that's what got Stephen Colbert, who's the other guy in that sketch on The Daily Show. So that sketch launched those two careers.
So when they saw that, when the people making The Office saw that sketch, and that's from that is from Dana Carvey, isn't it?
I think originally it was a Second City sketch that those two
and they
wrote.
used it on that.
Yeah.
Isn't that a sensational sketch?
Oh, it's very funny. It's a great game. It's just the thing of like, you find the game in a scene. That's what you do. So we had one recently, which was like the invention of paper, scissors, stone, and the whole thing was this guy trying to come up with the idea of paper, scissors, stone, and it was just playing that game of like, well, that doesn't make sense. We can't use that as the object. And it was really fun. But that is such a neat version of that. It's really lovely to watch, and it's so nice that it did launch two improvisers into like the biggest, name recognitions in the world, I'd say.
Incredible. Who'd be the third member?
I would go with someone like I'd probably go with Amy Poehler,
Yeah.
who I think, I mean, if she's busy, Tina Fey can come too, but those two are really great. And again, I think they were responsible in setting up the Upright Citizens Brigade, and so clearly have a big love of the format as well. And obviously, it goes into so much of the comedy that they've created, which is absolutely brilliant.
I mean, look, they're both obviously phenomenal, but if we go with Paula, and the Yes Please book is, I mean, that's a must read, isn't it, for any comedy fan should read that.
Oh yeah. No, it's enlightening, and it's well written, and it's funny to read as well. So yeah, highly recommend. And the podcast's good.
Is it Bossy Pants? Tina Fey tells the story of when she realised that she loved Amy Poehler was when there's a table read at SNL. Amy Poehler does like this monster voice or something, and Jimmy Fallon says that's not cute, and she goes, "I am not here to be cute," and Tina Fey was like, "Oh, I think I've just found my new best friend."
Yeah.
Now, is there room for what? Is there room for one more, or is it?
No, I mean we've had on stage probably. We've got 6 coming up. I'm not sure if we can announce it yet, but we've got a couple of improvisers. We'll say it as a Easter egg. A couple of improvisers who will be joining us in a couple of months. So we can go 6 at maximum.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, in the American team sometimes get quite large, like 8 sometimes.
Yeah, I think that Dropout show had about 8 at the Apollo.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
I just meant from your point of view, how many did you have prepped? Because I didn't want to be going, and who else? And you two are like, fucking hell, mate, we've got 17 people on this stage.
We're improvisers. We can keep going for as long as you want.
Yeah. And I've said I've got 2 shows. The one is the 2-hander with Steve Carell. The other one is definitely Faye and Poehler are in that. And then I think I'd stick in Ryan Stiles and Colin Mockery.
Oh,
Having those 2 duos on stage would be great. Ryan Stiles, Colin Mockery, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler. Stiles and Mockery are the really tall guy and the bald guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And they are so good. They're so incredible together. They're incredible individually, but they're so funny together.
What I would love to watch is their tall and bald guy do a scene with our tall and bald guy.
Yes.
So have Brian and Colin and Tom and AJ on the stage together. It's like 2 generations of improv passing the torches. That would be really fun to watch.
Their chemistry was divine, wasn't it?
Oh, so good. So good. And they clearly figured out that this was one of the big selling points of the show, and and Wayne Brady's fantastic singing. Well, Wayne Brady might be a good shout as well.
Mate, you should do your, like, I have my Steve Carell as my 2-hander, so your 2-hander, because Sam's got a better singing voice than I have. You and Wayne Brady.
I think the problem with that is the levels there are so disparate. I think if I can do some resurrection, a 2-hander with Robin Williams would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
No,
he's a force, like a real it's real, like you get left behind if you're not like on it. You have to be there with him.
Finally, someone at my speed. It would be great. Change.
Robin Williams would drop in at places, wouldn't he? And join with. Imagine that.
I think he did do a couple of episodes of Whose Line, but he was sort of around when the Comedy Store Players were forming. I remember they would. Someone was saying, I think it was maybe Neil Malarkey or one of the players, want to watch Robin Williams stand up, and there were bits in there, but a lot of it was improvising for like an hour. And he just clearly a truly fantastic brain that was there to, his main mission was to make people in life smile and be happy. So yeah, I think if I'm allowed to use magic, I think for a 2-hander, I'll pick that, even if it's just to be the straight man while he does everything else.
Superb. Now, has there been an incident that you would somehow love to replicate at this gig?
Ooh, with all these people, like if we whatever combination of it is there is a guessing game that usually happens at the end of the first half, which is called party quirks where one person is hosting a party
Yeah.
and then a bunch of other people are coming in with strange things like they're a nun, but they're also here to kill you. Or the Luke played a fantastic The Process of an Erection that he had to be guessed. And so doing a supergroup version of that with AJ guessing because he's the worst at it, which is funny, would be really really exciting. And then just doing a massive epic play, like we did one which was called The Off Season, where we were kind of like going, and we feel like this is wrapping up now at the 30-minute mark, and we can see how this comes together. And something happened where we just went, no, there's more to this story, and we
Yeah.
went on for like another 25 minutes.
Wow.
And so doing a fully epic narrative with those amazing people would also be very cool.
Now, has there ever been an incident that must not happen at this gig?
We started gigging at the Top Secret Comedy Club, so we kind of, as we were learning improv, most improv groups learn the kind of like a safe theatre environment with other improv fans coming to see it. Whereas we learned, doing a show once a week with a bunch of strangers who were there to see stand up.
Yeah.
So they didn't get that like, oh, actually, I shouldn't be like shouting things out. So we got a lot of like heckles, and you learn how to deal with them and put them down and move on with the scene without having the power of a microphone either. Like, we were just projecting our voices to a room of 200, 250. But we did have the worst heckles that we had once was a group of 20. They weren't mounted at the time, but they were mounted police officers who were there for like some do or whatever, and they were really drunk. And one guy, he wouldn't shut up. And that's the only time we've ever had to get like the venue staff to like remove someone from the gig, and that's to get rid of this police officer. And he's like 19 mates had to leave as well. So I don't want that to happen. No mounted police officers at the Apollo, please.
We deliberately cap sales at 6. So
for groups.
You cannot buy more than 6 because of the reason why I went. As you're telling that story, it was like I got a flat. We once had a hen do. This was why we cap it at 6. Probably about maybe not quite 15 years ago, but certainly well over a decade ago. And I think it was something like 19 hens, and they were all in their 50s, and they were absolutely fucking annihilated. I probably went home that night, set limit at 6. But like what you're describing there, anyone that goes to gigs or knows comedy, they know that a group of 20 mounted policemen, that is, it's only going to go one way, unfortunately, isn't it?
But I wouldn't trade it though, because I think part of the reason why we have had some success is we were trained in something which is called bar prov, which is basically being that thing that no one was coming to Top Secret Comedy Club to see us. They were coming because they heard it was a great comedy club, which it absolutely is. So we were having to convince an audience who had taken a punt because it was free to get in. So there was no way of setting limits on group sizes because it was max it out as much as possible and get them to drink as much as possible at the bar. But those instances of that, of having, people yelling things out, having sometimes people throwing things, people like walking out because they don't like improv, and us also not being that experienced at the time, but we needed that Tuesday night gig bucket to be over $1,000 in order to pay all our rents that month. We just had to, it was a really great crucible for us to be pretty much bulletproof with what an audience can throw at us.
Yes.
But Bill Burr says that these days he will walk on to a standing ovation, right?
Yeah.
And I think his point is that maybe you're not always as honed as you'd like to be because they're already so on side. And he says it was his years of doing the strip malls, essentially walking onto the sound of your own footsteps, where you really earn your spurs, and that's that sort of thing. You've got that's the equivalent of starting a football match 5-0 down, but then learning how to come away with a 7-5 win. If you can win over those guys, then you've got something, right? We've all, I think the thing that unites us on this, we've all done the hard yards.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't quite get standing ovations when we walk on, but I remember at one point there was a show we were doing up in Edinburgh, and Luke just did this with his hair, and the whole crowd went "Woo!" and got. I was like, "Going, we could do. This room is so kind and so excited to be here that we have to make sure that we are doing quality control ourselves rather than because our audience is so lovely. which is
Yeah.
why going to other places around the country who
Yeah.
probably haven't been to a live show before,
Yeah.
and like doing the store, which has got a slightly different built-in age of an audience, and
Yeah.
our guys will still turn up, but just having at least a third of the audience not be already part of the church is a really useful thing for us.
So,
Yeah, it's especially with the shows. We get a thing as well where like the biggest fans will sit right at the front. Normally in a comedy show, people don't want to sit at the front because you're going to get picked on. Our show is a lot safer than that. So our biggest fans sit at the front, and they're the ones that are always ready to like whoop or cheer or even give it like a ah at the dramatic moments,
sure.
the sweet moments. And sometimes that masks a little bit. You're like, well, hang on, what is the general crowd thinking? Because with improv, you have to be reacting. You're inventing it as you go along. It's not like the pre-planned bit and which bits are going to hit. You're trying to work it out as it's happening, and sometimes it gets a little bit disguised, and you have to like listen carefully beyond the front few rows
Sure.
to work out what you should be pursuing in a scene.
Well, what I do is I pick one of our younger fans who's been brought there by their dad and has no idea why they're there, and I have him as my canary in the coal mine. Go, are you smiling? Are you laughing?
Yes.
Are you enjoying this? And if he is, then we're not just preaching to the converted. Don't know why I do so many religious metaphors.
I do that when I do a lot of TV warm up, and I'll do that if there's a usually it's a husband. The wife is a huge fan of the TV show. The husband has been dragged there against his will, and it's sort of checking in with that guy. And if he's enjoying it, that everything's great. So Luke, with the hair, you turned into Arthur Fonzarelli, right? You were in Happy Days. In Happy Days, the rest of the cast had to wait because the crowd were like, ah. So you'd had your own Arthur Fonzarelli moment. That's
yeah.
We all dream of that. Jesus.
I think Luke was more annoyed about it, but than anything else.
Talk about a champagne problem. Bloody hell. Luke.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm even jealous at just running the hands through the hair, let alone the cheering. Well, look, the final question: how do you guys unwind after a gig?
There's often an immediate debrief about what went right and what went wrong, and
which goes from a level of like a couple of things to think for the future to full blown. Well, I don't think that's right. I think you did a mistake. I think you did a mistake, and it's everything in between. But we're getting better at sort of being able to put a pin in that and actually relax.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that you could have had the most 10 out of 10 show, and Sam, are you the guy that's like, guys, you could have said blah blah blah?
That's not me, actually.
No,
Absolutely not. No,
generally not actually.
Very rarely do.
Yeah. Normally, it'll be Tom who'll be the most displeased, the tall guy, the guy who is our narrative king. He is like a writer outside of this as well.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Normally he'll have the most problems with it. I think I'm much more appreciative. Like, look, it is ephemeral by nature, so forget about it. Let's take what broad lessons we can from look for repeated patterns through shows that we're doing and focus on them rather than the actual show that we just did.
Everyone needs a diplomat in their lives. This is great.
Yes.
That is a good skill. So what are you like, Sam?
I usually come off going like I come off like Luke being like, that was great, we did a show, that was fine. And then as soon as someone says something, I get very defensive. I'm like, okay, why so like, no, this is why I did this. This is why this happened, and this is what made me do this decision. And AJ is probably somewhere in between me and Tom. I think Luke definitely is the diplomat. That's a very good moniker for him. But yeah, usually, I mean, it rarely gets very heated. It's usually, it's usually when one person has a thought of like, this is where we should have gone, and one person goes, I don't think we should have gone that way. But we always come off at the end of those talks being like, the audience had a great time. What an amazing job that we do. Let's boil down what these 2 points are, and we'll talk about it next week. And then usually AJ will disappear as quickly as possible because he is very newly in love and wants to go and see his new girlfriend, who's lovely. If Luke is not got an early flight, usually me, Luke, and Tom will probably grab a drink afterwards and just be friends for a little bit, because that's how all this started, and it's very important not to lose sight of that. And then we all go home. Luke is either sleeping on Tom's couch or going back to live with his family in Essex before his flight. Tom's going home to his wife and his new kitten, and I'm going home knowing that I'm going to have to wake up at 7:30 to take my daughter to soft play and the park and the swings.
All idyllic in their own way.
All the delay.
Guys, thank you so much. Good luck with everything. Fantastic, just fantastic stuff. And a big well done. I obviously can't speak on behalf of the improv community, but I can say this as an improv fan. Just congratulations with everything. It's superb stuff, guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Well,
you,
if you're up in Edinburgh, we'll be at the McEwan Hall on the 14th, 15th, and 16th.
And then the Apollo is the 4th of October.
4th of October at the Apollo.
Yes.
It's all happening.
Yes, please come.
Great
please,
stuff.
Please buy all the tickets.
Look, it's ages away. It's ages away.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. No,
Take
we're very
care,
excited.
guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks
James.
so much.
Timo, this is Tim. Huge thanks to Shoot from the Hip. Great chat. Great to chat. Improv.
Yeah.
Timo, this is a tough one because we're doing we have to be faithful to the format. Favorite memory, Shoot from the Hip. Any thoughts, Tim?
Well, is this a thing? The historical thing of they are, we believe, the first UK improv troupe to perform at the Hammersmith Apollo. I've also just looked at a seat map. It's selling ruddy well. It's selling unbelievably well. I'd get your tickets pretty ASAP, if I'm very honest.
One thing that stuck out for me is because I'm used to seeing improv in dingy basements and what have you, or and so it does feel exciting for it's not a medium, is it? For the craft of improv to see it transform to theatres. So I think that would be great to see what they do to make it work in a big theatre.
Yeah, I completely agreed. It sounds like they've got big old plans for it. And considering they often do regular nights in it's like barely even 100-seaters, so transforming that to the Apollo is a very exciting thing. And you know what, well done to the boys.
It must be very inspiring for anyone that's in an improv group, because sometimes you might think, as Joseph Morpurgo, that's what he told me, because as Joseph tells me, you can be in some of the best improv teams in the country, but if you just feel like you're on the grind, then to hear something like this I think it's a great thing, isn't it, for comedy?
It's a great thing for improv. Like we talked about how the Free Association is like a purpose-built improv venue and stuff. It's if you're a UK improv fan, it's never been a better time for it.
I used the expression "what a time to be alive" to the kids the other day.
How do they take to it?
Not great. I wouldn't do it again.
I love What a Time to Be Alive. I really love What a Time
to Be Alive. You know why? It's because we were eating outside because it was so hot.
Oh man, God. I'm up for just eating indoors. I've had enough sun now.
Do you know what? I'll be honest. I'm getting no sun. I am because I'm so busy with Always Be Comedy. I am. You can hear the fan. The only time I venture outside at the moment, Tim, is to see your sweet face at Always Be Comedy. I'm in all. All right, I might do the school drop off, but I've not been venturing outside.
Oh God. I do I envy that? Maybe in a way.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So when we're eating outside, for me it was what time to be alive.
Yeah.
But
lovely.
The poor kids at playtime at school.
Yeah, Christ! Oh my God! I bet.
We hope, guys. We hope you're faring all right in the heat, and we
yeah.
hope actually at the time of this coming out that the temperature's dropped by 20 degrees.
God, yeah, please.
Do you have any tips for combating the heat, Tim?
Just if you're able to, if you're able to shower quite often. I know it's not particularly water efficient, but I think needs must. I think needs must in this situation.
I'm sleeping in the 7-year-old's bedroom because she's in with Mrs. G because that room is cooler. And I woke up. So I'm on my own in a small bedroom. It is. I think I can say without exaggeration that particular room is hotter than the Kalahari Desert. Yeah. And I've been coping well, but I've got to say this morning I woke up at 4:50 something. And I knew that was me done for the day, because when you wake up like Jimmy Stewart in Vertigo, but this was pure. It's a deep cut, but this was purely deep cut. Not really. It's one of the most iconic films ever. What are you on about? But yeah, I woke up because there was no moisture in my body, so it was that sort of. And
God, that's awful.
And that was me. That was me up. I was you know what, Tim? Thanks to you, I was up playing the James Bond game on the PlayStation, which you got me for my birthday. So I think you've got to make the best of these situations. So I got up at 5:13, went downstairs, played James Bond. So I am knackered. My brain does feel like it's made from blancmange. Yep. But Tim, I thank you.
Okay, well, not all heroes wear capes.
Not all heroes wear capes, but they're very generous.
Christ, but yeah, good Lord, let's get through this, and we'll roll on, bloody awesome. People hate that I've said that.
No, but if you listen, I'm gonna pitch this to you in real time. When England get knocked out of the World Cup, we should do a video, and it's us two like hugging each other, and the caption is anyone who runs gigs, and it's not because it's not just comedy, it's theatre, it's music, you name it. Anyone who runs gigs during a World Cup, that is your secret reaction to when England. Yeah, they might win. All right, if England get knocked out, fine, you got me. It's not. I mean, look, it's not Ice Road Truckers or anything like that, but it adds an extra challenge, Tim.
Oh my! It really does. It takes over the country for. I mean, especially this World Cup, it's 7 years long, but
so long.
It's such a long tournament. But yeah, I mean. I don't know.
We know some. We know we've got some Palace fans listening. I have sort of soft boycotted the World Cup because Adam Wharton didn't get picked. So Josh Pugh asked me last night. He's like, "Are you watching many matches?" And I was like, in fact, I can safely say that England game is the only full match I've watched. Whereas at previous World Cups, I would watch as many matches as was humanly possible. Have you watched many games?
The only one I've watched is the Ghana match because we showed it after. I'm so sorry to whoever was on. I can't remember.
Paddy Young.
It was Paddy Young, my dear Paddy Young. I'm taking for the fringe this year.
Literally one of Tim's closest friends in comedy. It's just the heat talking.
That really is just heat talking.
Sorry, I mean, I also misspoke. The Ghana match is the only match. The Ghana England is the only game I've seen the full match of, because I think we had a gig for England Croatia. We had something, and we
had Stevie and Josh and Anya.
Oh, if you've not, you know what? I've got a real soft spot for that night, and I've said that to you the other night. Loved it, absolutely loved it, because that was proof that all right, it is an extra challenge, the World Cup. But that was proof that there are lots of comedy fans who couldn't give a toss about football. Yeah, new material night, exactly the same time as England, Croatia. And then if you've not seen Joshua Bethanya's set on the socials, because his stage time coincided with the literal kickoff of England, Croatia. It's a really funny video.
It's so
good.
And then
you can hear the groans downstairs, and then Joshua looks at his phone. Harry Kane's just missed a penalty, and he's wearing an England shirt, so it's great. He plays it. He plays it to perfection. Anyway, thank you all, guys. We are grateful. I know we say it a lot, but we really are. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye 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 bye.